Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Great, great. Hi,
Awesome.
it's nice to finally meet you. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, because I spoke to Christabel and she, gave me some details about you and everything you're gonna be doing. And yeah, thank you for showing up.
No problems at all, at all, at all.
Yeah. So
Um,
how's it going though?
Not bad, not bad. Still learning to speak French, but I'm having a beautiful career in France, so I think
Oh, I
everything.
see. So you're in France now, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Aren't you in France?
I'm in France. I'm in France, but I had no idea if you were in France or not. So.
Yeah, I am actually.
Oh, really? In Paris or?
No, at Drodron. It's a bit up country.
Okay.
France and Montpellier.
Okay. Well, that's nice. And how long do you think you're going to be here in France? Is it like a long-term thing? Are you also in the UK bandwagon?
No, 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 no. But I guess I'll be moving between America, North America, and EU for the most for my work. Yeah. I don't know who's Peter Balogun, just to be sure that other people, all the invited people have not joined.
Let me just check. Uh, I think we're still waiting for some people.
Okay, cool. So you'll be the host, right? And I'm
Yes,
guessing most of the questions. So
yes.
if you can just help us track myself and the second speaker to track the questions. Since it's a workshop, I guess the questions should, I mean, we should be stopping intermittently to address questions. So it's a workshop
Yes.
anyways.
Yeah, of course, of course. It's going to
Okay.
be more interactive.
Okay, no problem. So I'll just stay in the background for now.
All right. All right. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I can see we have Peter and also Praise Bosswoman.
Yes, it's nice to be here this morning.
Yeah, it's nice to have you.
Yeah, I'm
Hi,
Peter.
everybody.
Hi. Yeah, great. So we still have some time, so hopefully
Yeah,
people are just going to join in. Yeah.
just want to wish us all the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
No worries.
Sure. So Peter, are you also in France, or do you stay somewhere else?
Yeah, I'm in France. I'm speaking from Lyon.
Lyon. Ah, I see. Wow, wow, that's not
Yeah.
far away. I'm actually in Marseille, and so
Okay,
it's
you're in
like,
Marseille. Okay, good,
yeah, yeah,
good.
it's not that far.
And who is our speaker this morning? I guess is Folarin Damola, right?
Yes, yeah,
I'm one of the speaking or invited speakers, but I'm not starting because I know that I saw the flow of events. I think
mm-hmm.
HR lady would start off,
Mm.
then she has the first 1 hour, and then
Yeah, yeah,
I take her from there. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm focused on the LinkedIn optimization section for this workshop.
Anyway, just to say something about myself.
Okay.
So because I'm seeing the two faces here for the very first time.
Okay.
I have been in touch with Praise, so we had a couple of meetings together sometimes in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Peter Balogun is my name, and then I'm into research here in Lyon. Um, I currently do things, carrying out my thesis, my PhD program at the University Lyon 1.
Oh, okay.
Where I do things on biotechnology, industrial biotechnology.
That's interesting.
Oh, wow, that's nice. Is this your first year of PhD, or have you?
I'm in my second year, actually.
Oh, wow.
Mm,
Oh, that's great. That's
yeah.
great. Of course, like research here in France, I'm also doing a PhD. So, they have their own, it has its own wahala, so
It
yeah,
is.
yeah.
As a
there's a
matter
lot.
of fact, I spoke with someone in Nigeria this morning, just calling to greet the person happy birthday. But today, and the person was saying, that is really been a while. I say, man, if I tell you what is on my table right now, I have a huge number of literature review, so many things to
Mhm.
do, and but we just
Yeah,
have to create time to do other things.
of
Yeah.
course. Of course.
I think the things that we sort of struggle most is having enough time to do what we need to do. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure we'll ever get to that point. It's just probably will just get crazier and busier for most of us.
I didn't get that.
I said, I guess what many of us will continue to struggle with is to get enough time to do everything that you want to do.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I don't think we'll ever get there.
No,
I
no, no,
guess
not
as
at
we
all.
get busier, get more successful,
Yeah,
we
we just have to
continue to,
prioritize things and
yes,
do.
just exactly. Prioritization will be the key.
Mm.
Correct.
Let me see. Okay, so I'm still waiting for some other people to join. All right. Maybe we just give them like 2 more minutes and then we'll start at 11:05 so that we can get everything going. Okay. All right, I can see more people joining in. Welcome, everyone. We're excited to have you here. Thank you for making the time. So we're just gonna give like 1 minute for people to join in before start talking about the program. Okay. All right, so I guess we can start now. Hopefully others can join us as it goes along. Welcome to everyone. Thank you for being here. This is the CV workshop, LinkedIn workshop.
Thank you.
Yeah, so basically we're just looking for a way to help most of us who are here in France on how to optimize your LinkedIn, optimize your CV to be able to get a job, which is one of the things that is not very easy when you get here in France. So basically, we're going to start first with the CV workshop. And I don't know if you already saw the flyer. We already have an HR specialist who is going to speak to us about that and is going to tell us exactly which parts of the CV we should optimize and which things are really important for the recruiters when looking at our CV. And so this would not only help us to position ourselves well, but it would also help us to make sure that our CVs are remarkable and would make them stand out from the crowd. Yeah. And then secondly, we would have the LinkedIn workshop, which is going to help us to position ourselves on LinkedIn, talking about the best LinkedIn practices and, how to make your profile look more appealing and so that you can be able to attract interest from people. I know I've spoken to a lot of people actually in the build up to this who told me how they don't even apply for jobs sometimes, recruiters reach out to them because of how they position their LinkedIn. So we're going to be looking at how we can just create a good LinkedIn profile to attract interest from many people. So we want these sessions to be interactive. So if you have a question or if you have a comment or something to add, you can just add it to the chat. And on intervals, we're going to be cycling through the chats so that the speakers can answer the questions and deal with everyone accordingly to make sure that everyone goes home with something. I would implore you to mute your mics while the speakers are talking so that we can also control the amount of noise coming in during the speaking sessions. And yeah, so I guess that's basically it. So I'm just going to say a brief overview about the speakers. So, of course, here with us, we have Folarin Damola, who is a business analyst coach. I've just spoken to him before the meeting. He's also here in France with us, and he is going to be speaking mostly on the LinkedIn aspect. And so if you have any questions about the LinkedIn, you can reach out to him, and hopefully he will be able to help us with that. And then secondly, we have Enare Abang. I hope I'm not butchering the pronunciation of the name, but she is a HR generalist and the founder of instaGo Ed Travels. So she is going to be speaking to us about the CV aspects of it. And I can see that she has just joined us here. All right. Once again, welcome to everyone. And without any further ado, I give the floor to Enare Abang to begin with the CV workshop. Please, the floor is yours.
Okay, that was fast. I didn't think I would just jump in and everybody like, okay, get right into it. Hi, everyone. I'm kind of feeling a bit nervous right now because I just jumped in the call and I've not been able to settle in. Could you give me a few minutes to pull up my slide and then I'll come back on the call to present if that's okay?
All right, sure, no problem.
Thank you.
No problem. So while we wait for her to pull up her slides, I just want to know, is everyone here in France or are there some people joining us from some other places? I mean, you can unmute your mic now. Don't be shy. We're having an interactive session. Okay. Okay, so we have a message from Peter. Let me just see if I can pull that up.
Are we supposed to like introduce ourselves?
I guess it might be better to drop like where you're from in the chat section, like your name.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Expectation
Sure.
for the call. Just just let us know where you're from, what you expect from this workshop.
Yeah, so basically you can just drop your name. If you're in France, the city you're in, and then what you expect from it and what you would like the speakers to really hammer on in this. Okay, thank you, Praise. Great. I mean, there's so many people here. We can. Okay, so we have someone from Toulouse. I've always wanted to visit Toulouse, actually. Thank you. Any expectations? Do you have any expectations? Anything that you would really want them to highlight on? This is to David.
Good morning.
Okay. Oluwafemi says, from Paris, expecting to learn how to rewrite my CV in French. Oh yeah, that's very important. That's very important in the French and Europe format, which is very different from the Nigerian one. That's true. We have Aderonke, who is looking to upgrade CV and LinkedIn, of course. Great. So that's something we'll really hammer on here. Currently in Pontoise, I don't know where that is. Is that like the east or west of France? I'm confused. Okay, so Ifyok says he's looking to optimize his LinkedIn. Ifoma is looking for insights. Currently in Dijon. Oh wow. Actually, I used to be in Dijon for like the last year when I was doing the master. So it's nice. It's nice that we have someone from Dijon. But I have no idea whether it's east or west. Wow, interesting. Okay, no problem. David with a double E. Is it like David or David? I don't know. Here in Europe, we have so many pronunciations. Expecting to learn how to rewrite my CV and optimize LinkedIn. Dara is in Paris, looking for an internship to validate her licence. And okay, yeah, to see how you can write everything cohesively and how to optimize your LinkedIn. Okay, so we are ready to move on with the CV workshop. So of course, I would leave the floor for you, Enare. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. So just let me know when you can see my screen. Okay, I think you need to give me a permission for that.
Okay, let me just see if I can do that right now. Just one moment. Not really.
Okay, maybe I'm just gonna take a moment and call Christabel.
Okay, yeah, sure. Because I think you should be able to show your screen.
Due to make her a host.
Yeah, I'm just about.
And myself too.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. Okay. Yeah, so Enare, I've made you a host.
All right, thank you. Let's see if it works. Okay, it works.
Great.
When you can see my screen, you should be able to see it.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Great. Okay, maybe I have to put this to the side. Awesome. Yep, so I didn't get the sorry, I didn't get the full gist, but I do know that my colleague is going to take on the LinkedIn part. But this slide contains all the information basically about crafting a CV, the LinkedIn optimization, and basically all the dates you need to know about applying for a job. So what are we going to discuss about? So there's going to be a brief introduction about myself, just a few ideas on how to optimize your LinkedIn page, and the worst, the most difficult part of it, which is the French job market, and then crafting a CV. And we're gonna have a question and answer session, but I do understand that that has been moved maybe to the last part of this meeting. So if you want me to pause somewhere, you can let me know now so I know how to navigate that. Okay, I'm guessing no pauses. All
Yeah,
right.
it's fine. I think if they have any questions, they'll leave it in the chat, and then I can bring your attention to it, something like that.
Okay, I cannot see the chat, so I don't know if I have to.
Yeah, no, I'm going to alert you about the questions and like draw your attention to that.
Awesome. Okay, so a brief introduction about myself. Who am I? This is usually the hardest part of presentations that I have, but yes. So my name is Enare Abang. I am a 3-time founder. I founded 3 companies, and I worked as HRBP analyst for NG last year, and I'm a business growth strategist as well. I finished my MBA at EMLV Business School, and currently I'm pursuing a PhD in business psychology. I'm also very passionate about community development, and which is why I do have a foundation called Star Foundation to support children in Africa. On the slides, I'm just going to share basically tips that you need to have an edge in the French market. Okay, on to the next. So this is very direct, just like the whole call was direct when I jumped in. First thing you need to know about your LinkedIn, I'm going to go back to my LinkedIn page. So I just did like a screenshot of what my LinkedIn looks like. So if you go on your LinkedIn profile, the first thing you need to do is to have like an intro page. What is your niche? What are you looking for, on LinkedIn? What are you looking to explore? Are you on LinkedIn to get like a job? Are you on LinkedIn to just showcase your talent? Are you on LinkedIn to, talk about your milestones? So the introduction, which is your headline, should kind of like reflect what you're on LinkedIn for. So if you go all the way to the second slide, you'll see that the key elements of a standard profile is first of all a profile photo. I see a lot of people when they update like their LinkedIn photos, they have like these selfies or at a bar or somewhere that doesn't look professional at all. As tiny as it might seem, it's also very important that your profile picture it's better you don't have a profile picture at all than for you to have a profile picture if you're like drinking with your friends at a bar on LinkedIn or just doing something random that doesn't reflect professionalism. So a summary is basically what I okay, I can't really see my LinkedIn in full. I was going to join from another device and maybe switch the screen, but that's going to be too complicated right now. So when you go on your LinkedIn, I would open my LinkedIn now on my mobile while I'm speaking so I do not make any mistake, and I'd appreciate it if we all do the same so we would see what I'm talking about right now. So I'm on my LinkedIn. Okay, if you scroll down, give me a second. Gonna take a while, but okay. So if you scroll down on your LinkedIn profile, the first thing you see is like the summary. There's like a headline where you have to introduce yourself, which is what is like on this part of the screen. And then if you go all the way down, there is a place called about. It's like an about section of yourself. So what is your about? Basically, your about is answering the question, tell me about yourself, in a normal conventional interview. So you have to just summarize that section. Okay, this is who I Sorry, guys. I need to take some water. Sorry.
Yeah, sure, no problem. And I was also thinking that since we also have Damola here, who is going to be like on LinkedIn, maybe we can just like keep most of it like on the surface level so that we can go deeper. Yeah.
Okay, great. That's what I wanted to know before I started. Okay, so basically for the summary, which is kind of like about yourself, you just have to explain what you did in the past, what you're currently doing, and what you're looking forward to do in the future. Your experience should always be like fully updated. Your headline is what I explained about. Your skills and endorsements should also be, there should be something there because most of the jobs are optimized for specific skills on LinkedIn. Your certification or education should also be there. You don't have to include everything, maybe just the education and certifications that are like in link to what you want to do in future. These are just basic introduction, professional identity, and desired role, summary. Your summary should be short and concise. Your skills, you should have at least 10 skills that are like relevant to the job that you're applying for. So these are points to note basically for enhancing and getting LinkedIn, getting views or getting noticed on LinkedIn. If you're a recent graduate, you should include more of your academic achievements, for instance, your internship and projects that you did while you were in school. To build your network, you need to also connect and interact with other professionals in your niche on LinkedIn. So you have to post regularly, you have to share and comment, and you have to document your learning journey. Okay, I think this is the part where I have to take more time to explain. So I made a few details on what should be on your CV and what should not be on your CV. Sometimes when I review CVs, I see irrelevant personal information like date of birth, marital status, and all sort of, I don't know, but that should never be on your CV. The employer is not interested in when you were born, your age, what ethnicity you belong to, because that could bring about bias when they're reviewing your skills and qualification. So what should be on your CV? Your personal information, your contact emails. The email should always be professional, not, for instance, Folarin 12345@gmail.com. Those are not the kind of emails that should be on your CV. It should always be your last name, your first name, or your first name and your last name at the domain. Then your CV should always be short because you know that for the French CV format, it has to be standard A4 one paper, one-paged CV. So the summary has to be very short, doesn't have to be like everything about yourself. You can put a link of your LinkedIn page or your portfolio on the CV just so you can have like a broader explanation as to what you do, your portfolios, the things that you've done, especially if you're into DevOps. So normally it should just highlight key points, things that, you know, the ATS, that's if the company is using an ATS, can pick up during the verification process. So sometimes when I review CVs, I see CVs with different jobs. Let's say you're applying to be a manager, and then on your CV, I'm seeing jobs where you were an engineer, you know, a manager in maybe a firm that is not related to what you've done in the past, and it's just so packed up. You have different experience and it's not organized. When you're drafting a CV, it should always reflect what you're applying for. So I'm trying to give like a visual explanation. For instance, you have 5 years of experience. In this 5 years of experience, 2 years of the experience, you didn't have anything to do with the role that you're applying for. So what you have to do in this scenario is you take out that 2 years of experience and then you only leave the 3 years of experience on the CV that is relevant to the role that you are applying. But you always have to put like a link to, you know, your full profile where they can see that, okay, yes, you had experiences in the past, which could, you know, be beneficial to the role. But you don't necessarily have to list everything on the CV. It has to be very clean and concise. If possible, you have to make sure that you target only key points that are related to the job in your skills, because most of the companies do not do, how am I going to put this. Most of the companies do not review CVs, you know, like they don't have people to review the CVs like individuals. They use AI, they use, you know, ATS. So you have to use the keywords that the ATS will most likely pick up while they are running your CV through. Any questions so far? I should keep going.
It doesn't look like we have any questions yet, but I think from myself, maybe I'll just go ahead and ask
Sure.
a question. So you made a mention of ATS. So are there any keywords that you think are important for us to have on our CV so that we can get past this ATS screening procedure?
So this is how it works. It's not like a generic keyword that work for all the ATS. If you're applying for a job, let's say you're applying for a job in tech and they want to review your CV, you have to have like these keywords that are like tech related, the job related, you know. So you need to make sure that the keywords are the words that are included in the description of the job over and over again, because those are actually the skills that they are looking out for. So when you're drafting your CV, you need to reflect these skills on the job description in the CV, and you need to look for the repetitive words because most of the job description have like repetitive words. So they're looking for like someone who is, let's say, flexible, someone who is spontaneous. So if like they put like a lot of spontaneous, you have to make sure that you have to put like spontaneous in your description. So when the ATS like captures that, okay, this person really has everything that's it's just going to bring your CV up as, you know, one of the qualified candidates for the role, and then they will call you up for an interview. Of course, they're still going to like take your CV and review it, but as if the ATS has, you know, been able to screen you for reviewing. If not, if you just put like generic words, you're going to get lost. Sorry, is someone speaking? Oh, okay. So yes, back to you. Let me use another example. Let's say you want to apply for a role in management specifically. You know that you know the qualities of a leader, someone who manages things properly. So you need to use the keywords in that particular niche to structure your CV so that the ATS is going to pick it up, because most likely that if the role is a managerial role, they've probably like conditioned the ATS to pick like these keywords and qualities of a leader or of a manager in a CV. I don't know if that makes sense now.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We got some other questions here. So the next one is, what personal information should be on the CV? Because you first of all mentioned that like you shouldn't put, you know, date of birth and stuff. So should you put stuff like address, or like what kind of personal information?
Yes, so basically you just need your name, your email address, and your location. You don't need to put your postal code, your complete address, because now you know that on Google, you could literally just put in your address and it shows everything about where you live. And that's not good for security purposes, because as much as we are applying for these jobs, we want to make sure that we keep like our personal life away from the job, because we don't know which company is real or which company is not real. For someone is going to show up at your door and kidnap you. So you have to be very cautious when you're sending your CVs there. So you have to put your name, your email address, those ones are safe, your LinkedIn profile, of course, if possible. And then for location, if you are in France, just put Paris, France, or Bordeaux, France, or wherever you are in France. If you are in London or anywhere in the world, you just have to put like the city and the country, and that's it. But if you're looking to just explore jobs in the EMEA area, you can just put EMEA and that's fine, especially when the job is looking for someone in the EMEA, you know.
Okay, yeah, great. I think that's it for the questions. One other person was asking about the number of pages, but I think you already said that it should just be a single page CV, right?
A single page CV if you have experience below 10 years, but if you have over 10 years of experience, let's say you're going for like a directorial role or like a senior manager role, then you can have a double page CV.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so this comes to the part where like you are explaining or highlighting what you did in your experience. So I call this the STAR experience. What is STAR? Is a situation, task, action, result based like explanation. You can use these in your CV approach, or you can also use this while you are answering, let's say, a question, during your interview. So what is the situation? The situation is like what happened when you were working at the company. So usually it starts with words like while working at so company. And then you explain the task that you were given. I was given this role, I was given this task, I was given this challenge to, get this done. And then you go over to the action. What did you do after you were given the task? Did you just throw the challenge away or push it to the next employee, or you actually took charge of it? Then you highlight what you did there. And then you talk about the result. What was the result of your action? For instance, let's say you reduced churning, like I put there in the example, or you can say that you expanded the company or increased revenue by a specific percentage. So you always have to quantify that. It's pretty simple. Any questions on this?
I think we can move on from this. Someone just asked a question if they should add a photo to the CV, because we have some people talking about having photos on your CV and not, especially here in Europe. Do you think that's something that we should do?
For me, I think that you shouldn't add the photos on your CV, because whether we like it or not, we're still being stereotyped. There's still racial play in everything. And most of the companies will put it out there as equal, distribution company and all of that. But we all know that that is not true. So to avoid, it's basically kind of like putting where you're from, your date of birth, all of these things. People say age is just a number, but we all know that it's not just a number. Even in France, like there are opportunities that when you get to a specific age, you cannot have it. So to avoid the bias, I prefer to like take out the photos from the CV. Maybe if they want to see the photo, they can click on the LinkedIn, but you know that any employer who goes on your LinkedIn page, he has been intrigued enough to actually be on your LinkedIn page to see you. So at that time, they're like, okay, this person has the skills, and yeah, it works. But on your CV, I always advise that you don't put it there. If you want to put it, it's fine. But what I do is like on the photo section, I just put my initials, EA, and that's it.
I see. Okay. That makes sense.
Okay, I think someone wants to speak.
Let me just check that.
Hello, Peter. I think he has his hands raised up.
Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the short introduction that you have given. However, I have an observation. Like for example, we have what is called the Europass format of a CV.
Yes.
And which is sometimes they are specific in what they want you to put. I recall having prepared one particular CV, and it was requested to be a Europass format, which they specifically asked me to put my my passport, which I did. So I had my passport attached to it. And I also discovered that the CV description you are giving, because I observed that sometimes the academic CV, it seems different in a way from a general job hunting CV. So what do you have to say about that? Thank you.
Okay, so first of all, this CV where you were asked to include your passport, was it for an academic position or for a job?
No, it's an academic position. Academic position is also like a job sometimes in academic environments.
Okay.
Like that.
Then that would make sense, because like how I say, this is strictly career, I think that if a company requests so much from you, for me, I'm just going to be like, okay, this is a red flag. I'm just applying for a job and you're asking me to attach my passport, my identity, all this information to it. Like, why are you asking for too much and I'm not even in the job? You know, what it happens when I'm in the job. For academic, yes, that's okay. It can pass because you know that for sure they're going to need your passport to arrange some papers. So it's understandable. But for a job, you don't need to see my passport, not until you have given me an offer. So it's a red flag for me. So I think that if you're applying for like a job, you should have a specific CV just structured for the job and for the role. Then if you're going for like academic and they request for Europass, it's pretty simple for Europass CV. You just have to go on europass.eu, structure your CV. If you're going to attach your passport, then you know that it's in safe hands because the school is an institution and you know it's a lot easy to deal with that. But you are basically putting your CVs out there to random employers and you don't know if they are safe. So you cannot attach your passport or personal information to your CV when you're applying for a job. Please don't do that. Have I answered your question?
Yes, very well. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I think we have great hands up. That's nice, great hands.
Yeah, I'm just thinking maybe we could save some of the questions for the end of your presentation because I think that we've taken some time with some of the questions we've already answered. So let's just try to get through because I can see also on your slides that the next one is about the EU format. So maybe as we go through the slides, we'll be able to answer those questions before we raise our hand. So please go ahead.
All right, so this is a CV format that I created for a student in France, and I've taken out our personal information for data privacy. But this is what an EU CV format should look like. It's just a one-pager. Your education should be up when you're still in school. When you're not in school, when you're done with school, you switch. Your education should be down. So basically, these are the only things you switch when you're done with school and you're just looking to get a job. You put all your experience up and put your education maybe somewhere here or down here. But while you're still in school, your education should be up there so they can see that, okay, you are still undergoing training. For the skills should always be on the left side of your CV and it should highlight what your competencies are, especially targeted towards the role that you are applying for. So if you are applying for let's say an administrative role, the skills will switch. If you're applying for a tech role, the skills will switch based on the job and the description of the job. For the language, I always advise that you be honest about your language because most of the times that I lied, we've all been there that, oh, my French is so good. During the interview, I was like, okay, can we try your French? And then you're lost and you know, even if you were doing so great in the interview, you know, with language, it can make even the smartest person look so stupid. So at the end of the day, you will look so stupid in the interview and he's just gonna let you go. So please don't do that. If you're learning French, put there that you're an A1 or A2. If you're very good, put there that you're very good because at the end of the day, they're going to test your language and you want to be 100% honest about that. For me, I just got tired and took French out because je ne parle pas très bien français. So if if you if you're looking for, let's say, French speaking roles, then you want to put your proficiency there because that's what the employers are looking to know. But if you're an English person and you're not interested with the, you know, working for like a French speaking or bilingual work environment, then it's best to just remove the French language like it doesn't exist, which is what I do. Then for your awards achievements, this is very important. For this person, you can see that she doesn't have a lot of work experience, but she has had like lots of awards and achievements. And if you're still a student, this is most likely what will get you like your first job because people are looking to see, okay, what you've done in school, the internships, what you did in your internship. So you have to be careful to structure this to reflect what your competencies are, because I promise you, if you lie, you're gonna get caught. So now, what are the popular job boards in France? Like everybody knows of LinkedIn and Indeed, but Glassdoor is, I think Glassdoor is where got me my internship with NG. So I found them on Glassdoor and I applied for it. I actually like Glassdoor more because with Glassdoor, you can see what other employees are facing. You have to be very careful the kind of company that you're applying to, because it can be good and it can be bad based on the situation of, you know, the company and how they run things. So I love to use Glassdoor, because with Glassdoor I can see the company revenue, which is no money, and then and then you can see how much they pay, because for some people, like during the interview, they just ask you out of the blue, like, how much is your expected salary? And if you are not on Glassdoor to research this company to know how much they would, you know, pay someone for that particular role, or the range, at least if you don't know the specifics, then you would either be selling yourself too short or selling yourself too, you know, tall. So you have to make sure that you research the company on Glassdoor to know what other employees are saying about the company before you apply for the job. For Welcome to the Jungle, I know a lot of people who got some good positions with Welcome to the Jungle, and I think it's very good because it posts more of English speaking roles. It's like it's more international for people in France. So I've had some testimonials, but I have not used it personally before. I've gone on the platform and just done some search. I've not used it. I've used LinkedIn, I've used Indeed, and I've used Glassdoor. And amongst all of them, I recommend Glassdoor more.
Yeah, you should join.
So, okay. So that takes us to the end of our slides. What's the first point to know? Most of the time, when the job description is written in French and you're an English speaker, avoid it. Point 2, only submit your CVs with experiences relevant to the job that you are applying for. And point 3, your CV should always be a page unless you have over 10 years.
I think you're muted because we can no longer hear you.
No, she's not. We lost her audio. I can't see. I think she just lost her audio network, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
can you guys?
Yes, we can hear you now. If you want to come back again, maybe past 30 seconds.
Okay, so what was the last thing you heard me say, please?
After reviewing the jungle and the platforms, Glassdoor, I think when you moved to the next slide, we lost you.
Okay, so basically I was just saying important points to note. For the first point, if the job description is written in French, it most likely requires a French speaker, except it is stated that they need an English speaker, which I think is fishy, because if you need an English speaker, the description should be in English, because that's only an English speaker would understand that. If not, then it's bilingual. Only submit CVs with experiences that is relevant to the job that you're applying for. That's also very important. Your CV should always be a page unless you have like over 10 years of experience and you're applying for an, let's say, executive directorial role, like I said previously, then yes, you can have 2-pager CV, but always keep it easy and concise and simple. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you so much. It's really, well, I say I've learned a lot actually with the information. I never used Glassdoor before. And so most of the time in the interviews, they ask me, so what is your salary expectation? And I'm trying to like reverse psychology them into telling me what their budget is, you know, trying to. So I think that's actually very important. So we do have some questions here. I'm just going to go with the first one. So you were speaking about the CV, right? About how to put your experience on the CV. But how about people who don't have any experience? We're talking about fresh graduates. maybe have done an internship, maybe not. You know, for example, you just came from Nigeria where internships are not really a big thing, you know. So how do you get into those kinds of roles?
Have you done house chores before?
Hmm.
There's no way that you're Nigerian and you didn't do house chores at home. So let me understand. Did you wash your mother's plates or you kept her inventory organized?
Hmm. So it's all about the wordings of how you can turn your experiences. I see. Okay.
Exactly. Did you iron your dad's clothes? Or you made sure that he was you were his personal assistant. You understand what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so you have to be smart about
That's
these things,
But
you know? So there's no way you have no experience as a Nigerian. In fact, once you're born Nigerian, you already have over 2 years of experience than an European baby.
Okay.
So you can't be Nigerian without any experience. Please, it's not possible.
it works.
All right.
Anything works. Anything works.
Exactly.
All right. All right. So it's all about rebranding and, like we say,
Yeah.
packaging, right? You just package
Exactly.
the whole thing like
And similar. It's a good.
Exactly. So you just have to rebrand, know the keywords to use. You know, you could easily say that you wash plates, or you could say that you organized her inventory, you know?
Mhm.
You could say you cooked, or you could say so there's so many things you could do to like structure your CV. And then you don't have to put like any company. If you are, let's say for instance, someone who just fresh out of your mother's house, you managed your own company, make up a name for it. Just make sure it's professional, but don't say that you worked for a company that actually exists and you didn't work for the company, because if they reach out to the company, then you would be in trouble.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it's
Um,
about the person will do.
So relevant experience. I'm not sure I understand your question, Choma.
um,
I guess I was asking that for example, like if you're new to a career and you need you need experience in that particular career for them to take you seriously, like how
French.
So before you're interested in a career, did you take up courses to, you know, give you ideas about what the career or what that particular job function is? Did you take up courses? Did you go to school? In your curriculum, did you have like specific course, you know, that targeted that particular career?
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what you use to your advantage. First of all, you don't have the experience, but you studied this. So when you list the school, you list that specific course, and then you list what you learned under that course that is relevant to the job role.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
all right. I see that someone asked if it's possible for them to have the template, the CV template that you shared.
Sure, I
If
could
it's
send
possible.
I could send the slides if that's okay, so you can have an idea.
Be my PC, not
Okay.
to.
Right. Patience, please, if it's possible for you to mute your mic, please. Patience, Agnes.
It's
Okay,
okay.
three people that have their hands up for questions.
Yes.
Yes. So we have a few people whose hands are raised. So we'll just start from, I think the first one is Daniela. So Daniela, please go ahead.
Hello, I think I already asked the question on the chat because I've actually met up with like 3 to 4 HRs, and they'll be like, yeah, like after correcting your CV, if my photo is not there, they will be like, hey Daniela, it's a must. So I'm more concerned about the photo on the CV.
Okay, you said this HR are French.
Yeah, like they're French, yeah. Like they're French, yeah.
Exactly. I mean,
They'll be like, it is important.
An American will say it is important. A French person will say it is important, but we know who we are. And of course it is important.
Yeah.
You're still going to be stereotyped.
Okay. And also concerning the location, because if you're for the location, instead of putting Nantes, like Nantes, France, I have like two of my friends, they would actually put mobile on France. That means you're actually not searching for one location, but anywhere in France. So is that okay?
So let me explain to you now. Your location is different from the location of the job. If they say they want anywhere, that is when they are applying for the job. But when a recruiter takes your CV, they want to see, okay, where is your base? If we're going to move her from here to here, do we have the budget for it?
Okay. So there's no need putting mobile on France. Like
Exactly.
just your location where you live is okay.
Exactly. Because
Okay.
ultimately, if you are in Paris and you're applying for a job in Nantes and the recruiter says that, okay, yes, this person, then they already know that you want to move because you applied for that job.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, great. The next is going to be Oyinda, I think. So please go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Enare, for the excellent presentation. Thank you. That's been spot on. I just wanted to add for the photo. That's the only thing I would want to add to my own views on. Personally, I've been applying for jobs in France and I've worked in different companies in France as well. But one thing I do is put my photo on the application, and I know that obviously this can be interpreted in two different ways. Like for
Yeah.
instance, your view of saying that they might not want to give you the job if they know that you are
Yeah.
maybe a person of
Yeah.
color or whatever,
True.
or female, a person of color, female, and all that too.
Yeah.
So those could be things that might come to play. But I know that, like you mentioned as well, in the US, that's also something that they frown on specifically. Like
Yeah.
it's not common to put your picture on your CV in the US, but in Europe here, I know from experience that actually like they would want to see the photo as well. And that's also what Daniela was trying to mention as relates to HR people telling her to put her CV
Yeah.
on her photo on the CV. And I think that could help because if they have to go to your LinkedIn page too, but I mean, obviously there are different ways to look at it. Firstly, if you're putting a
Yeah.
photo, it has to be a very professional photo where the person that's employing you knows that you're not putting a picture of you just, I mean, I've had even
Yeah.
instances where I've had to recommend somebody to a company or to someone for like a volunteer role or something. And then I'd had to tell the person to change their picture on their WhatsApp to something more professional than just a
Yeah.
holiday picture
Yeah.
because the person is job hunting or opportunity hunting at that point.
Yeah.
So I think it might be helpful just so that, because if the recruiter has to go to your LinkedIn page, maybe that company is not for you, to find out if you're like to see even if they discriminate against you because of they see that you're female, you're black or whatever, then that could be a sign that that's not where you're meant to be as well, right? Because then that might be a show of how the management will treat you when you start working at the organization. And to be fair, when they start the interview process, you're going to be interviewed and they will see your face. So I think it's a conversation that could be had earlier, in the sense that you put that photo on your CV and people can see who you are, and then they can make that informed decision before the interview, and they're like, oh, okay, fine, we're still not going to hire you. But obviously, like you said, it can be interpreted in different ways. But I know that in Europe, it's a different scenario where you also have, your photo on your CV as well. But thank you very much for the presentation. It's been very good and very spot on. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So just to highlight, you can leave your photo on your CV. But speaking from HR perspective, I've had to review CVs where when I took the CV to the hiring manager, like, oh, this person is Turkish, obviously, so they would not be able to work with social culture because they do not rapport well. So those are things that, usually play in some companies, but this is just to and expand your chances of getting an interview. For some people, yes, it's okay, they're looking at the skills. But for companies, they will tell you that, oh no, they're not biased. But anything that comes to your race, the way you look, all this conflicting, your ethnicity and all of that is something that actually it doesn't set the standard for the decision of the recruiter, but it actually influences that decision. I don't know if that makes sense.
All
Yeah, it
right.
does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. The next we have is David. So please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing more clarity on the whole photo thing on the CV. My question is, I still need more clarification on when it comes to the CV aspect, because the skills, I'm a chemical engineer, but I'm currently doing my master's in membrane engineering, which is like a sub-discipline, or like a different specialization still in chemical engineering. And I've seen offers that doesn't really align to what I'm currently studying, like for my master's. But I mean, my background is in chemical engineering, so I'm asking how to, one, like go about that, and secondly, um does the French CV still applies to every other EU countries as well? And also, do we still have to like still put the photos just in case?
I think the photo option is totally up to you if you want to put your photo or not. So I'm just giving a recommendation to avoid discrimination. So if you want to put your photo, it's fine. If you don't want to, you can take it off. It's a personal decision. But on the other part where you say you're trying to, switch specialization, I think what you should ask yourself is, why are you studying something? Okay, yes, something you've already done before. Okay, if your past experience are in mechanical engineering and you're studying something different from what you want to do, why don't you remove your educational specialization? Like, instead of putting that you're studying, what did you membrane? Sorry, I'm gonna need you to help me here. Let's have a
Yeah,
conversation.
it's membrane engineering, but it's still like a
Like,
sub-discipline of chemical engineering. It's still chemical engineering, but like a sub-discipline of that.
so they have like things that you can relate or put, like you can connect to your previous experience, right?
Yeah.
Then you have to create the connection. So you have to look at the similarities. What are the employers looking out for? What are you currently studying? What is going to be relevant to your experience in the curriculum that you're currently studying? So you highlight that when you put the school. You don't just put the specialization, you highlight what you're doing that is relevant to the job that you're applying for. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, like last question, sorry. Someone told me my experiences back in Nigeria doesn't really count. Like, they're not gonna like count it like, okay, I have like so amount of like work experiences, because even before I left Nigeria, I worked professionally like in a multinational like petrochemical industry. But when I came here, someone like, oh, it's not gonna count.
I
So
think every experience counts. Of course, international experiences are like highly rated, but every experience, no matter how little, I just literally give an example of the experience in your mother's house. So, so every experience literally counts. If the employer is really looking forward to the skills, what you've done in your past experience, then you should leave it there. Don't take it out.
okay, thank you.
All right, great. I think we can take two more questions. And then after that, there was a question about if we could like look at a CV and try to make some improvements on like a real CV. So I don't know if maybe someone wants to share their CV. Maybe we can do that last, and then before we move on to the LinkedIn workshop section. So if you want to share maybe a CV that you think maybe we should look at, just something that we can look at briefly, and so that we have a more practical approach on it, you can please share, and we'll look at that lastly. So the next hand I think was Great, but I don't know, Great
Praise.
has put down his or her hand.
Just
So we have Praise. Yeah.
Sorry, just before I take Praise's question, David asked something as well. If the CV is a standard European CV, To my knowledge, the one-pager CV is a standard European CV, but there are countries who have their own standard CV. For instance, if you're applying to jobs in the Baltics, it's a different approach. They have like a platform that automatically generates your CV. It's called europa.eu. So if you go on the platform, you just put your work experience, put all the information, and it's just going to automatically generate the CV for you. So if you're applying to jobs like in the Baltics region, that's something that can work for you. But for me, who has gotten interviews in like France, Luxembourg, Switzerland, most of the CVs that I use are the one-pager CV.
Okay. Okay, so we have Great. So Great, please go ahead and then we'll take praise and Dalgate.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, so I just wanted to thank you very much for the very nice presentation, Enare. I wanted to add to something Oyinda said. I think she makes a very important point that in any case, if they're going to discriminate against you because of what you look like, you don't want to be there. In fact, you don't. So like she said, it saves you a lot of time if you put your picture and then they see it and they simply don't call you back. You use that time to apply for other jobs. You use that time to find people who are also looking for you. So, you know, it's at the end of the day, you're going to show up at some point. You're going to see what you look like. I had a friend who got a job, and at the time she resumed, basically, her manager was not around. So somebody else had completed the process. Maybe he saw the CV, he liked it, but he didn't know she was Black. And when he resumed, they just basically hated her, and she had like mental health issues because of this. Eventually had to leave the job and all of that. So I understand your point. In fact, I've been affected personally by your own point of where I applied for a role. This was academic, and they wanted a European, right? And they thought I was Black European because my picture was there, but my nationality wasn't. And this can be very interesting. I think because you also talked about people who may need to send their passports. And I think if you work, for example, in engineering, if you work with chips and so on, very advanced technologies, it's common for them to ask you for your nationality, because some of these technologies, they don't want them going to the wrong places. So I think depending on the field you work, your picture the importance of the photo could be, really significant or less significant, depending on whether or not you might interact with clients or people. If you just work in a lab, it may not be so important what you look like and so on. But yeah, it could really be a strong requirement or not.
Thank you for the addition. Great. Like I said, again, the picture is a personal decision. If you want to leave it there, you can leave it there. If you don't want to leave it there, you can take it off. But ultimately, again, like I said, if a company asks for so much, then obviously they are going to stress you when you get the job. But at the end of the day, companies have their standard that they're looking for. They just need somebody to do the job. But you see, HR has a different, basically, plan. So you can get hired for the role and they like you. You could also get hired for the role and the person, your manager doesn't like you, even if you're European. So it all depends on your personal decision as an individual.
All right. So the last question we'll take is from Praise. So please, Praise, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Enare. Thank you so much for, once again, I'm just echoing what everyone has said. It really has been a really good presentation. Thank you. I just want to speak and like to ask if you could speak to this, because a lot of people talked about wanting to know how to structure their CV in French and how to, but then I'm asking, if you don't speak French, should you put your CV in French? Like if the job is in English, except maybe the recruiters ask for a CV in French, does your CV have to be in French?
No. So if you're applying for if the job's description is not written in English, just avoid the job. If the job description is written in English, then you have to check if they need a bilingual speaker or an English speaker on the description. If they need an English speaker, you send them an English CV. Of course, if it's like, I don't know how to put it. It's no brainer. It's simple. It's that way. If the job's description is in French and they say they need an English speaker, then you should question that, like, okay, if you need an English speaker, why is the job in French? Which means that now I have to translate all this to actually understand. Then they probably need a bilingual person. But if they strictly want an English person, send them an English CV. And if you're an English speaker who is looking to work in an English or international environment, your CV should always be in English. Except you're a French speaker that is looking to work in French, then your CV can be in French. I don't know if that makes sense.
All right. So we still didn't get any CV samples yet from anyone. Yes, please. If anyone could send theirs, I could also send mine. I think it's possible to send it in the chat as a file, and then or something like that, and then we could look at the CV and see if we can correct it or something. You know, this is a CV workshop after all, so please don't be shy. Let me see. I could probably try to send one of my CVs that I have used before. Just one moment. Okay, I think I just sent it. Can you see the CV in the chat? Maybe.
Yes, I think I just got it.
Yes. This is a disclaimer. Please don't be harsh and critical of my CV, because you can see my picture there, just like big and.
Oh, it's okay. Okay, so
if you can share the screen so that everyone can follow ahead, like along.
Actually, okay, so let me first of all, you have a 2-pager CV. Ooh, I'm talking Director General. Okay. Let me. Where is the Zoom again? I lost visual. Okay, the Zoom is here. We have another CV in the chat, but let's go with yours first. Yours is good, so we're gonna be fast with that. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can, but it's quite tiny. I don't know if there's a way you can.
Yeah, just gonna do that. Okay. So David's hand is still up, but so are you still in school? Yes. Now, you know what? Let's all learn together with this. So it's going to be interactive. I'm going to ask questions and you guys will help me fix it. Okay, what's missing on this CV? Or what do we need to like restructure? What do we need to place in the right sequence? When you open this CV, what first caught your attention? Let's start with that. And what do you think would have been the first thing to catch your attention? Do you have any hands up? David, you want to speak?
Hello.
Yes,
David. Please go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
First, I want to appreciate every one of us joining this afternoon rather. And for this particular CV, it's fine, but I would rather prefer the experience to start first before the education. Yes, it's in school, but this is not the first education. The person is already a professional in medicine. So I would rather prefer that the experience comes first, because he is trying to make the current program overshadow his medicine, doctor of medicine, which I don't think this is, for God's sake. You are more like a professional, even you have trained as a medical doctor. So a person couldn't have just bring the MSc Artificial Intelligence first. I would rather prefer that you project more of that medicine while you are now saying you are now studying again in France. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I had the same observation, but there's something else. So I'd like someone else to try. When I opened, from the first time I opened the CV, when you saw like the full view, what
The
was the first
formatting.
thing that caught your, exactly, but what could have been the first thing to catch your attention on the CV?
For me, I think it was like the page was very disorderly. The format, the arrangement, it looked like you just tried to cramp so much, and it's not aligned. Basically, for me, that was the first thing that caught my eye.
Okay.
Okay, can I?
Any other addition?
Yeah, can I say?
Yeah, good afternoon. This is Informa here. Thank you for the great presentation. It's appreciated and we are learning a lot. So the first thing that caught my attention is that I see there are so many font sizes and types on the CV. So because of that, it looks as if there is no, it's not coherent, kind of. I mean, there are so many information that you're looking, oh, which one should I pick? Which one should I look like? I mean, it shows that the owner of this CV is a professional, has so many experience, and then there is a lot it can offer. But I think there could be a way that it will be more presented, that it will be kind of, you know, should I say, I don't know this word I want to use, like transition by transition, because there are so much information that you might be lost in what am I looking for. So if you could probably align like the last speaker said, and also maybe use, I mean, at times you can use one or two fonts on a CV, but not so much. So just to make everything align together, and then, so yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I also share, please.
Yes.
I think for me in particular, I would say that your profile should be at the top right-hand corner, which is like your basic summary or your bio, right? That's what actually intrigues any recruiter to then go forward into looking at any other thing. So where the education history is, I would rather put the profile there as a summary of your educational and professional accomplishments and what you're looking to do now as you're moving into your current career path. Every other thing later, talk about the fonts, arrangements, and things like that. So that kind of gives, starting with your profile, you give a chronological presentation.
Great. So I was hoping someone would say it, because the first time I opened your CV, the first thing that caught my attention. Okay, David wants to speak. David, do you want to add?
Not really, but like I'm just asking, like this is personal for me. Okay, the thing is, the CV, I'm not really good at making CV. The thing is, for me, because the kind of program I do, I'm an Erasmus scholar, so right now I've completed my first semester in France and I've gotten my diploma, where I'm gonna still go to like other countries and also get like 3 to 4 diplomas. So I don't know. Am I like, if I'm doing my CV, do I have to like add all the schools and all my trainings and all my skills, because it's gonna take more than a page?
Okay, that's a first. I never really structured a CV for an Erasmus scholar before.
Yeah.
So
Can I answer that very quickly?
Yes, please.
I think that, you see, there is, when it comes to CV and formats in Europe, I think we shouldn't be too much concerned that, oh, it must be a one-pager. Experience differs. Take, for instance, I'm an IT support or technical engineer with over 15 years experience here. I don't care. I put my experiences even in 2-page or 3-page. Like I posted something now, that you don't defeat yourself in this field. When I saw that I wasn't getting a job because I couldn't speak French, I decided to create a company on my own. And in fact, I don't even want to some extent, I would rather prefer to even be as a self-employed. Like I said, press premium on yourself. You can repackage this CV even in a 2-page CV, and yet all this as Erasmus scholar is even an advantage for you. So you must first believe in yourself. I think many of us, we also find, like the lady was saying, Enare was saying that if they write their description in French, business in applying for such job, yes, I can't force myself. I will try and learn the language, but yet if I can't speak, it's never my fault. So you also have to place that premium. All these things you've been doing, you can put it in a 2-page, and you'll be surprised that you'll be getting interviews requests, because you have to tell your people your story. So don't box yourself into a corner that, oh, my CV must be 1 page, and you miss out a lot. Like you are Erasmus scholar, you could have put all even the ones that you are yet to do. It shows that you are active in whatever you are doing. So for me, 2-page CV should not be much if you are well experienced. It shouldn't be much. It depends on what they want. So you must always put premium on your skill, on what you've done, because you must build story around it. You are selling yourself to the employer. If they don't like, then let them go elsewhere to look for whoever they want. I believe that we Africans must now start learning how to place premium on our skill set. Don't let anybody rubbish all the years of experience you've got way back in Africa before relocating to Europe. That's my submission.
Thank you so much, Rafiu, for that addition. Yes, your point is noted. And like I said, I've never assisted like an Erasmus student to restructure their CV. But of course, there are cases where we can treat it as an exception. But when it comes to the number of pages of a CV, we do not get to set the standard. The companies or the country where we are set the standard. Like in Nigeria now, if you're applying to jobs in Nigeria, then there is like an expectation they want to see on your CV. So each continent or each country where you are has its own standard. And based on my years of experience working with CV review, working with tech recruitment and all of that, most of the time they just need a 1-pager, and if possible that 1-pager can take up like links to your portfolio. So your portfolio is like another broader avenue where they can see, okay, all your experiences, what you did in the past, blah blah blah. Also, the LinkedIn is also another how am I going to put it? It's a non-negotiable link you have to put. If you don't have a LinkedIn, you should have like a professional portfolio to put on your CV where they can see like a broader view to what you have done. So putting your CV as a 1-pager doesn't limit you. It depends on what is included in this 1-pager CV. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, so I have a question. So what's the solution for me?
Okay, for me, which is my personal contribution, I would advise that first of all, your education can have all the school, because basically your education history can just fit here, but you have to really, instead of listing all the things that you did in school, you could list the courses. If you can fit like 4 different degree in a CV, then you can fit like 4 different schools in a CV. You just have to list them and then highlight the key skill that you learned while you were in these schools. So it doesn't have to be so bogus. You could make it so like, you know, easy to understand and concise.
Okay.
Then on your LinkedIn, you can list all the project, coursework, everything that you've done on your LinkedIn portfolio. So by the time they click on the link, they would be able to see like a broader view of what you did in your time at these various countries, if that makes sense.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, back to you, Dr. Harvey.
Wow, everybody has a lot to say about the CV, but yeah, I can see what you guys are saying about the format and the experience trying to write the
Yes.
medicine. I think the reason I was trying to do that, as to not make the medicine overshadow the other parts, is because I was applying for roles as an AI person and not really necessarily as a doctor, but it was like a med tech company. So of course medicine would still give me some props, but it wasn't like the main stuff that I wanted to put on the CV. So which is why I arranged it like this. But of course, someone also said something about the profile changing where it is. Of course, those are some of the corrections I'll have to make.
For me, that was the first observation. Like once I opened the first thing that caught my attention was the education history. So when Sarah mentioned it, I was like, yeah, that's it. So what you could have done here was to switch places. You put your profile up here. Your name should be boldly written there. Like I am Dr. Harvey. This is who I am. Like Rafi was saying, like you have to highlight your star. So when you come here, the first thing that caught my attention was education, not the Dr. Harvey. You know what I'm talking about here. You have to actually like put yourself out there. So you put the education down because yes, you're studying, but you have the experience. First thing that should be there is your profile, your name, what you do. Like here, you put it up here, doctor, engineer, who am I? Explain yourself. Education history can even be all the way down, but your work experience should be pushed up because you have the experience. You have 2-pager CV. You know you're a director. So you have to you have to restructure that to really highlight your key competencies. Then there is something that I just observed on your LinkedIn, you know that normally when you're restructuring your CV, you have to make this a link. So when you make it a link, it's a lot easier. Nobody's going to come and, copy, you have to like really copy, open a different window to set that before they can go to your LinkedIn page. So when you're editing, you need to make this a clickable link. So by the time I click on it, it opens your LinkedIn page automatically without me having to do the extra work, so that's what you should definitely put there. For your experience all the way up the fonts. Thank you, Ify, because it wasn't even that like, it wasn't what was on my mind until she had said it, and I was like, okay, yes. So you have to restructure the font also, make it coincide. It should all have like they should all like correspond to each other. And yeah, your certifications, these are fine. But then I want to know why the extra design on the second page, but it is not on the first page. I don't know if you can see that. So on the first page, you have like the extra design sticking out here. And the second page is like you decided that, okay, I'm not going to put you in the corner now. I would bring you to the to the middle. So yeah, we should like just structure this to be the same, like coincide, and then there should be like I don't know how to put it, but there should be a straight, before you do your CV, you have to put like a straight line all the way down. And you see these dots, they should always be in the same order. You see this France that is almost leaving the country right now. You have to make sure it doesn't run away from the paper. So you put it inside and just make sure like everything aligns, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Ah, you speak German. Ha, dusche ustush. I don't even know what I'm saying.
That is so skillful.
Oh, you speak Ukrainian. Как дела, my friend?
Wow.
Wow, this is good. You have lots of, oh no, you can definitely restructure this CV to better highlight your skills up there. For me, this language thing, I will bring it up here. You must see it on the first page, because
Exactly my points. Yes.
because it's a hot cake now.
Exactly.
So
You are.
so you have to restructure this well. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it did. It did. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay,
Thanks
Tekena.
for sharing. Thanks.
Welcome.
Okay. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much, Enare, for the presentation. Yes, it's just a quick one. I was just actually asking a friend of mine, because we've been applying for internship positions or internship offers. You mentioned something on creating a hyperlink from your LinkedIn page to send so that the recruiters can automatically go to your page. But when I was discussing with a friend of mine, he told me that usually, I don't know if it's true, and I'm just trying to find out from you, that when the hyperlink is put, sometimes when the recruiters like link the CV is sent or is clicked, it usually goes into the spam. I don't know that the spam inbox. I don't know how true is that. That usually because of the hyperlink, it goes into the spam inbox of the recruiters. I don't know if you've heard of anything like that before. Thank
No,
you.
that's not true. So most of the okay, because I worked in like a gaming company where we had to like basically review. There is no way you are a game coder and you don't have hyperlinks, except you're not ready for the job. You need to have like 10 different links, or at least one link that has like 10 different other links embedded in it, because we need to see all your past, projects, YouTube, what you've done, the kind of codes, the kind of game. So most of these CVs come with like bogus links, and they come directly to the HR mail. So if there is a situation where a CV goes to the junk, it is not the link, it's definitely something else, and it doesn't have to do with the person applying for it. It most likely has to do with like the company's website.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I think
So should we pull another CV up? I think there is someone else.
yes, because we have one more CV that was shared in the chats.
Let me.
And it was done by Ifechuku. Yeah, there's one.
Yes, you can send your CV to an organization. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to open this on the screen because that was a direct message. Sorry. Yes, you could send like CVs directly to an organization. If you want, just send them a message on LinkedIn, because most of the companies are like on LinkedIn page. If they need someone, that will definitely get to the admins. So that's also an option for you. But let's look at this CV. Again, since I'm not doing the correction, we are doing it together. I need somebody to speak. Who else? Who has something to say? Okay, no, since Ife, you watched us review Dr. CV, I want you to use the conversations that we had in the first CV review to talk about how you could make your own CV better. Are you there?
All right. So we don't really have a lot of time. So if we can just like put this under like maybe 2 to 3 minutes so that we can move on to the LinkedIn one. I think we just have a little under an hour to
Okay.
do that. Yeah.
Okay, is Ife there? If she's not there, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it.
Hello, I'm here, but I think you can go ahead. I'll really appreciate your comment.
Thank you for being here, but I think that you should be the one to go ahead first, and then I will adjust. So if you were here in our previous conversation, please start. We don't have time. Ticking, tick tock, tick tock.
Okay, I mean, from what was said earlier, I think in terms of the how is it called, the career summary that was in the previous CV, I think it's totally missing here. And I think the language skills was also not highlighted. I mean, I think it's at the bottom. So I think those are 2 points I took careful note of. I think the LinkedIn, I think it's a clickable link, but I think I need to confirm. I'm not sure again. If it's not, then I need to work on that.
Okay. Your LinkedIn is not a clickable link. I have tried and it doesn't work. So it is not a clickable link. Second, the colors, the colors are like very blinding. So I can't really see what's on it. It's there, but it's strenuous on my eyes. So you might have to take out the colors and leave it plain, or if you're going to use any color, you have to use a visual friendly color, not a loud primary color like this. Maybe make it more So maybe make it more a calmer color that it's, not so, I don't know. Can you guys at least
Gray,
relate with me
gray,
here?
like a
So
gray.
yes, it's too bright. Yes, so you have to take out the color, use gray or something calm. Then what else? I was gonna talk about your email here. So I understand you're using your school email. When you leave the school and you have no access to this email, if somebody sends you an email containing like maybe a job that you applied for years ago, you're not going to get it. Why? Because you're using an email that is controlled by your organization, which is your school at the moment. So you want to use an email that is 100% controlled by you. Okay, so switch it to your Gmail or switch it to like any other let's say domain that you have full control over. Don't use your enterprise email, don't use your educational email, because by the time this, let's say somebody wakes up and pulls out your CV and like, oh, I love the experience, let's contact this person, and you're not responding to mails, then they might not even find the need to call you. Your phone number is also there, but your email should also be something that you have full control over. Okay, your address is fine, but you should put it on the side, because these are basically taking up this whole space, which you could have like aligned in a better way. Then you're still studying. Okay, so this is good. Your education can be there. Your awards and achievement could be maybe down here. You should have like, there is a lot of ways you could structure this CV that would give you enough space and also give you enough place to highlight your skills, also your language skill by the side. So you saw how Dr. Harvey's CV was. Maybe you'd want to adapt the same structure, but align this in a way that really showcases both your experience and your skills on the same level.
Okay.
All right. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was really, really interesting presentation. A lot of information was shared. I learned a lot. Brutally honest on my CV, but I think that's why we're all here. So yeah, thank you. I don't think we'll be able to take any more CVs. I see someone sent a CV, but unfortunately we'll have to move on to the next one. But of course, maybe you can always reach out on LinkedIn to any of the speakers to see if they can help with your CV or something like that. All right, so let me now invite Folarin Damola to, start his own session. I know that we went a little bit over time with the last one, but there were just so many interesting questions.
Yeah,
At
cool.
that.
So
Yeah.
I think you went a bit more into the time anyway, but I also gleaned a lot from what Enare has shared, and I like that she had given some sort of overview. Thank you so much. I mean, the highlight for me from your session was, I think that I've not been targeting properly because I have above 10 years experience. I'm in tech, and sometimes I try to do the one pager because something I just heard, but I think I can sort of, even though now I'm working in France, so in finance and tech, I think I can use that to sort of put my experiences, and I like them more in my CV. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. To be honest, there are a couple of things I wanted to, just go in depth into again, and I started the conversation on the LinkedIn part, but I don't think the time will allow, seeing that we need to be off this call by, I think, 1 p.m. CET. But let me share my screen quickly. I guess we'll just talk to the essentials. You need to give me access to share.
The permission to share. Okay, let me see if I can do that. I'm sorry, just 1 second. Let me see what's happening here.
I already made him a host, so it's fine.
Okay, you've made him a host now. Okay,
Okay.
great.
Oh, let me try it again. Trying one time down. Maybe he's trying to replicate. I broke them.
Okay, yeah. So I think you should be able to do that now.
Okay. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I can. Let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, so very quickly, I go into something I just prepared. To be honest, I think this conversation would be more like a fireside chat, because I want to assume, I hope my assumptions are right, that almost everybody here has a LinkedIn profile. So based on that assumption, I can just, go straight into, looking at some of the key areas to focus on for optimization. Yep.
You're sharing your WhatsApp. One of you is sharing your WhatsApp, so you might want to share differently.
Oh, I'm sharing something else. Oh, okay. I have like big screens. Yeah, so I think I made a mistake there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Okay. Stop 2, stop 3. Yeah. Oh, why am I sharing this? What can you see now?
Some kind of mirror.
It's
I
a
think
mirror
that's the name of
page.
the app. Yeah, mirror.
Mirror, okay, cool. I'm not very adept with Zoom, so sometimes I struggle with Zoom. Okay, so you can see a mirror board.
Yeah, we can see the board.
LinkedIn Adedamola. Is that what you see?
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if there's a way you can make it like bigger because it's a
yeah.
bit
So I'm going to go into definitely. I'm going to go into presentations, but let me do a quick overview. Very quickly. Okay. Let me be very efficient with time because time management is very, very key for me. So I'm going to do this in like 10 minutes, and because I also want to give room for conversations and questions.
Okay.
So for me, I'm a business analyst. I've been in tech, I've been in finance, I've been doing this for like 12 years now. Yeah. And I train, I coach. I've been coaching, I would say since 2018. I train people in usually Nigerians, Canada, in UK, a couple of persons in US and some in Nigeria also, who are looking to get certified or write exams or get into jobs and all that. But for the purpose of this conversation, we're focusing on LinkedIn, so it's not a good count, right? Let me stay focused. So I've gotten some of the questions that people had asked ahead while they were filling the forms, and I think that it's good to look at them. So people, for the LinkedIn section, I think people have said that they want to sort of position themselves greatly, learn to gain experience, brand their LinkedIn page properly, revamp their LinkedIn page and stand out. Okay. So we'll focus on that. But let me just sort of lay a precedent to say LinkedIn is a platform where if you're not leveraging it right now for your career, you're not doing yourself good at all. Just to put some of what I sort of doing here and why you should be posting and branding your LinkedIn, using it your main point for your professional and personal branding. I'll skip all this. skip all this, skip all this. I wanted to also show that, some of the trajectory that LinkedIn has sort of gathered in the past 3 years, makes it, we can't overlook it, because I think that the adoption had moved more than 60% in 2022 to 2023. There are just 500 million professionals on LinkedIn now. We have 1 billion, and it has extended to 200 countries actively engaging LinkedIn. So you cannot afford to not be present, or be active on LinkedIn. Let's skip that.
Please,
somebody on mute.
Mike isn't muted. I think it's Paruz, Alhaji Paruz, someone like that. Please mute your mic. Thank you.
Okay, cool. I skipped this. So I wanted us to focus on just, say 5 strategic areas. How do you social sell or sell yourself, your brand on LinkedIn? How do you find prospects? Prospect you could leverage LinkedIn for job session, which I think would be, the use case for most people on this call. But you can also sort of do some, use LinkedIn as, a platform where you can have extra source of income. I do that today, right? And then, yes, how do you set up a personal branding? How do you grow your network and engagement? And how do you make creating content a bit easy on LinkedIn and any other social platform where you want engagement? Basically. Quickly, I'll skip all this. Prepare some links so maybe I can send them through. They can also help you, sort of take the conversation further. At the end of the day, you are the chief marketing officer of yourself. And if you're not selling yourself, well, who will, basically? All right, so let's go to some of the meat of the conversation, and then we'll wrap up. I'll just do a TDLR, or TLDR, so that we don't stay too long on this conversation. So social selling, let me go to what is most important. I'm going to post this link now. Let me see. You have my notes. Let me open my notes quickly. I want you to just check what your social, your social selling intelligence is on LinkedIn. Can I copy it from here? Let me, I think I can open it from here. Can you see my browser? Can you see what I just opened?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
cool.
we can.
Yes.
So let me try to drop this link on the chat, and you can quickly do this test for yourself. This is an head start to what is my social selling on LinkedIn? Where am I? You can use that some sort of benchmark. Where's my chart? Okay. And then I can just quickly show you how you can then improve that, like go into some sort of action-based, activities. But essentially, this just shows you how you are ranking among, other professionals, targeting the same things, sort of an overview on analytics. You should, for me, I've not been active for, so I just moved into a new role, and it's taking a lot for me. So I would say towards Q4 2024, up to now, I've not been active, but I'd sort of moved down from 70 something to 56. But yes, you can still see that because of some of the content I've posted and some of the algorithms on LinkedIn still keeps pushing that. But take away from here, it should not be more than 50 if you want to be obvious, if you are intentional about your social selling on LinkedIn. And you can use this link, just to check where you are very quickly. Although it will require that you log into your profile. So yeah, I'm here. Basically, how do you increase your SSI score on LinkedIn? You can take a screenshot of this if you can. Comment on, first thing is to look for people who are already have gotten enough engagement in the field that you're targeting. For example, if you're looking for a job or you're trying to target a specific industrial segment, look for what I would call category kings in those segments and sectors. Follow them. quick hack, comment on what they're saying, retweet on it, repost it, right? Try to create a post a day. Sometimes, for me, if you're too busy to even create content, I think what you should do, 45, okay, yeah. So I think people can post their SSI. So first thing is you should not be lower than 50. You are not doing well once you are less than 50. You're not doing well. And quick hack again, if you are commenting and you're reposting stuff, if you can even do that 3 times a week and check in 2 weeks, you'll see that you would definitely be somewhere between 50 and 60. I've not posted any new content in 4 or 5 months, basically, but I'm still above 50, yeah. Because there's a way the algorithm works. The algorithm, the base for the algorithm on LinkedIn in terms of reach and engagement is based on this SSI. So if you're not doing that, it wouldn't push you out. I think that, let me just check. I think Enare can also confirm. I've seen HR expert reach out to me to say they're looking for people in certain field and they found my profile on LinkedIn. That's because your SSI is above 50 or is doing really, really well. So if somebody is trying to search for people within this field or they're using some keywords, you're going to come up. Why? Because your SSI is is high, basically. So you need to work on that. So we're going to, and then this is some metrics in terms of how your SSI has been rated. You want to be here. You don't just try to be on the second level but if you're doing all this, you can definitely get to 100 if you are very intentional about it. Okay, what's my time? Okay, cool. So let me just stick to the main stuff. We're gonna skip all this. There's a lot to talk about, but I'll skip all it. I'll just try to go a bit into in depth. So I also want to assume that a lot of us sort of use LinkedIn, but maybe not at a very, very structured level. If you want to search, for example, you have the option for people, for connection, for so for example, if you're looking for category kings, if you're searching, just ensure that you filter on people. You can put the head of marketing. You can say diversity, equity, and inclusion. Maybe you're looking for some kind of some kind of role in some kind of segment, and then you click the people in that sector. You filter by people. You filter by the jobs, all that. So I'm going to skip all this, but this is how you sort of target and research on LinkedIn. I don't know. Are there questions? Because I can't see the chat. Please help me if there are questions. Or maybe I just go through it very quickly. Oh, I see another 138. You need to do a lot more. But yes, I think what I'll do is I can share a screenshot of this and then the action points so that everybody can start to take those actions. Okay, so I skipped this. This is final prospect. In terms of personal branding, right? Enare has done some good justice to this. I have a summary down for personal branding, so I'll just skip this. I'll skip all this. I'll skip all this. I'll skip all this.
I mean, if it's okay by you, we could extend part of the session because it looks like there's a lot of information that would be very important for us. So if you do have some time to really look at the details of some of the things that you may have skipped, maybe it would be very important. Like, for example, this link that you just shared is already a game changer. So if you have other things like that,
I'm always concerned about the people that have joined, and they have other things to do also. So I'm a bit concerned about that. I don't want to hold people more than they plan to be on the session. But we can also have a rejoiner if we can, or maybe share some stuff for people.
It's a recorded session, so even if the people leave, we can always share the information with them. It just depends on you. If you have the time, then of course, please.
Okay, I guess I have the time, but okay. I'll sit down to summarize a lot. So okay, let me go a bit into it. But to be honest, Enare has done a good overview. So your profile picture, I mean, I can't overstate it to say that you have to be intentional, have a good headshot, be very professional about it. Have a good headshot. There are a lot of AI platforms that can even help you with headshot today. Your about section, your profile, try to summarize it, use AI as much as possible. It's very, very important. A lot of times, I've been in interviews and they were specifically speaking to the things I have on my profile section on LinkedIn. In fact, the job I am in now in France, which is an investment banking firm, I remember that 80% of the questions that my hiring manager was asking me were things he had gleaned directly from LinkedIn. And just to mention, somebody had asked, or somebody has mentioned that my experience in Nigeria doesn't really count. They were asking me things that I did in Nigeria, in fact, they were asking me about the people I had said I'd coached and how I got them, what's my process. They were asking me questions that were not directly related to the work, but to stuff that they saw on my profile on LinkedIn. So you have to be, clinical. I don't know how to say that, how to overstrate it, but you have to be clinical about, how you sort of put content that describe what you've done on LinkedIn. And again, for tech, to stretch some of the conversation that has happened today, if you have a one-pager CV like I do, a lot of what I get, people asking me for validations in interviews that I attend today, and the ones that I'd had even whilst I was in Nigeria, were informations that were on my portfolio and LinkedIn. And most of the time, I don't even get recruiting manager asking me for what is on my CV. So you see that there's sort of a shift in focus, and maybe this is just tech, yeah. Okay, let's go to grow your network. So basically, for me now, if I go on my LinkedIn profile, I'm here. Please do well to follow me. I'm always looking for followers, don't mind me. I have 17,000 followers, and I'm not even doing so much, right? But one thing that I would say is to, like I said, your overview, your profile, your about, make it very, very, clinical. The featured section is a very powerful, section of your LinkedIn. I would intentionally post stuff that, the narrative that I want people to see about me, which is not necessarily what I do, but, the people I train, the testimonial that they give to me. So a lot of times, in fact, the job I'm doing right now in France, like I said, I had a couple of questions from my featured section. Like, okay, you trained people and they got certification and they're in US. How did you get them? How did you target them? So you want to use this the featured section here. If you have a post and you think the post has gone a bit viral, come and put it in the featured section. It's not hard. It's just to say you want to add and then add a post, add a newsletter. You read something on Medium, read something somewhere. Sometimes I'll just like, okay, I want to post something. I'm going to Forbes. I'm going to platform. They have something that they've posted that makes sense. That's talking to the things that I want to sort of pitch my narrative on. I come and put it on my featured section. So it's very, very important. I think another thing that I'll quickly stretch out of here is your recommendation. I see a lot of people and people that I coach. They've done so well. They have experience. They have 4 or 5 years experience. They're in the US and in Canada, and they don't have anybody giving them recommendations. That is a no-no. At least have 5 people giving you recommendations. The list you should have in your profile is 5. Yes, I intentionally would ask the people that I've trained, coached, people that I've worked with to come and give me recommendation on LinkedIn. And I've had recruiting managers ask me directly questions. In fact, I remember I did a gig with a company because somebody that had consulted for them gave me recommendation, and I was even in Nigeria. I think it's in Estonia. Let me check. I think I have them somewhere. I can't remember. And I was in Nigeria then, and I got a 6-month contract to consult and help them with their agile practice, and it was because of somebody they saw in my recommendation. So these things are, you have to just be clinical about it. People that already know you today, people you've worked with, things that you've done. You want them to give you recommendation. It's very, very important. Let's go back. Okay. So yeah, you want to actively work on your follower, ask people to follow, you have to ask people to give recommendation very quickly. Like I said, we post. I'm just gonna skip a lot of this. Okay. Creating content. This is what many of us struggle with. Average. Please, I would like to know how to grow my followership. Okay, so like I said, again, one thing you should do is to comment, repost, do that a lot. Yeah, basically, I think that's how people follow me and people see what I do. A lot of people reach out to me. One thing also is called the CTA, which I already have in the summary. I'm going to show you, which is call to action. You need to use the call to action link. So for example, today, I think between 6 and 7, I have like 3 persons that have, booked me on Calendly for business analysis coaching already, and they all saw me. They all use this link on the CTA link here. So, and this, I mean, I get this a lot on weekends because my Calendly is already has already structured my schedule for my weekend availability. So you want to use this. It might be your profile, it might also be linked to your website, but you want to be able to use this call to action. Yeah. And just ensure you post, ensure you follow people that are saying things that are category king in the segment you're targeting. And you will see people just follow you basically. I think it's usually quite I would say it's some sort inherent. Like if you're very, very active on the platform, you will see that people will like what you're saying, and if your content is valuable, then people will follow you, basically. I guess that would be my response. So yeah, like I was saying before I responded to that question, content is what I struggle with. It's not like I can't quickly get content, but I don't have the time. And sometimes you just have to prioritize what needs to be done, But I see that there are easy ways to really get your content, and it's good to sort of have a action plan to it. For example, one of the things I do today is, like I say, I go to platforms where there are information that or they are trusted content that people within maybe finance and technology would trust. For example, I would post stuff from Forbes most of the time. Economics, the economics. I also post stuff from there. So that is something that you can do. But if you really, really want to be intentional, there's this action plan that you could follow. To be honest, I struggle to follow it also, but sometimes I do. Let me make it a bit bigger. So you can put something quite simple and try to stick to it. Day 1, day 2, just plan the next 7 days. Say, what do I want to do on LinkedIn? Okay, I want to post something on personal growth. I've seen people even post like menus of the food that they are cooking in their kitchen, and some of those posts will go viral. Like, this is LinkedIn, and this person is just posting. I mean, it's just to keep that engagement going. Tips. I mean, you can just plan out whatever you want to post and then stick to it. You can also plan your timing around when you are free and all that to do this. Okay, so I'll allow the host to answer that question. Like, can we have slides? I can definitely put this in slide because I'm trying to skip through. So for the purpose of this conversation, I won't talk about monetizing and scaling, but there are a couple of information there. But I think that for you to get there, you even need to be first. I think the first step is to be very intentional about engagement. If you have enough engagement, you can definitely start to sort of get to the point where you can monetize, and try to scale. Yeah. So yeah, too long. You didn't read. Yeah. So as the session was going up, I thought I should quickly do a TLDR because I'm sure I knew that I won't be able to go in depth into the presentation. Let's focus on this. So if you I've not even followed everything I've said, but you want to take something away from this conversation we're having right now, focus on this, this section. This is like the summary, this capture. Can you see my screen very well?
Yes.
Okay, good. So use website link. It's very, very important. Let me go back. This is not where we start. Okay, cool.
The matter is
LinkedIn is a landing page. Sorry, somebody asking a question?
Yes, please. I was asking that what if you do not have a website?
what are you doing that you have a website? Good.
Okay, so if you don't have a website, right? One thing you can do is to go to, so for example, you can go to some platform that allows you to create your profile, right? Yeah, you can create free profiles on them. I can check them out. For me now, I've not really like created a website or a web page for myself, but my calendar is there. If you want to book, business analysis coaching session with me, but you can think about it. There's always something you can use with you can put in that link section for a call to action. Yeah. I mean, I've seen people put their emails there. I don't think that is optimal. I've seen a couple of persons that they just put their email. I mean, I don't want to send you an email like, I want to see what you've done. But so I would say that think about it. But there are a couple of hosted platforms today that you can just create your bio and then talk about what you've done. And yeah. I don't know if that helps.
Okay, something similar to having a link that speaks more to your portfolio, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that for tech guys now, for example, if you are into design or into animation, like the person that talked about gaming, I want to see your GitHub profile, because there I can see if you're into data analytics, for example, you can put your GitHub profile. People want to see your algorithm, we want to see some of the things you've done, yeah. So it's just a call to action, just a call to action that if you want to see more about me, here you go.
All right. Another question from me. Sorry. Do you have suggestions to such links, please?
Yes. So what I would do is I should hope that the host will have a way of getting back. I can look for one. There's one that you can just go put, and they are free, except you want to, have multiple pages. A lot of them allow you to create a freemium one-page bio profile. Yeah. So yeah, I can send one across.
All right. Thank you.
All right, no problems. So yeah, like we said, you are the CMO of your personal brand, your professional brand. Your LinkedIn is your landing page. I would say that based on my experience, even in Nigeria and France here, a lot of times I think recruiting managers will look at my CV and then they go to my LinkedIn profile, because a lot of the questions that I'm being asked in interviews are directly coming from my LinkedIn. So you want to be clinical. So yeah, I think I've said that enough. Your profile picture, please make it professional. Have a cover photo. Let me show you my cover photo. Even though nobody has asked me a question on my cover photo, but I know that one of my colleagues here, here in the company I work in France, had said, "Can you explain what your profile cover photo is about?" And I said, I mean, I'm into delivery, technology, product and project delivery. So I believe in having everybody on board, irrespective of race, social status, and so I had a story, and I'm like, whoa, that's so beautiful. I need to go and look for a cover profile photo that will speak to something if somebody asks me. So you want to use something. Sometimes you can even use it as a marketing magnet where you are saying this is what I do, but you want to have this. I still see a lot of profiles that do not have this, so please be intentional about that. Yeah, so upload the cover photo, please do. If you don't, call to action, turn on notification on profiles that you want to follow. For example, if you are targeting category kings in academics, for example, maybe there are people that are having some sort of discourse or conversation in something you're interested, you can turn on notification. I hope we all know that. So you can just, if I search for someone now, let me say, for the purpose of Donald Trump, is the guy here? Okay, he's here. If I wanted to follow, I don't know why this is profile though. If I wanted to follow whatever he's posting, okay, let me filter by people. I don't know who this person is, but if I'm interested in this guy, for example, I can turn on notification on what he's saying. Okay, maybe because I'm not following. Let me go to somebody I'm following. Somebody first. Okay, yeah. This guy is a category king in data analytics, for example. I knew him back in Nigeria. I can just come and click on this. I wanted to see what Yinka is saying. Yinka is #1, in data science, data analytic challenges and tasks in Africa, and I think in the EU. And I've met him one-on-one. I can just come put on notification and say anything this guy posts, I want to see it and post, yeah. So that's how you do your targeting. So let's go back there. So yes, turn on notification on the people you want to follow. You can book a one-on-one call with you. You can put that in your link as your call to action. So that's like a link to a Calendly link, for example, your website, if you have an ebook and all that. Okay, calm down. So your headline, like we said, your headline is very, very critical. It should, and I think that Enare also mentioned something along those lines, like you should put what you're doing, your portfolio, certifications that you have that you think are relevant to whatever you are targeting right now or pursuing. You want to put that to your headline, again, website, or just a link to a platform that is hosting your bio. Let me put this in presentation. It is not doing good justice right now. So yeah, you can like the cover photo I said, you can put your you can use it for hats if you want. You can put something that maybe you are working on, like the book that you've just you have on Amazon or whatever. You can use your cover photo to sort of do that. All right, so that would be me, even though I've tried to skip through very quickly. I don't know if you have questions. I can take that and
Yeah, so there are some questions. I think recurring question here is, how do you use LinkedIn to search for jobs, and like how do you apply to those jobs? And I think one thing I would want to add also to that is, even when you find the job, would you advise us to use the easy apply method? You know, the one where you can just easily send it like that. So I think if you can speak to that, that would be great.
Okay, so the first thing I would say from my own experience is, if you are really in that hiatus where you are looking for a job, searching for a job is a full-time job. So maybe you don't want to always use the quick link. Let's go there. You don't always want to use the quick link. Let me move this up. So if you come to, where is it? I think jobs. Come to jobs. You can definitely filter on what you want, whether you want to quick link and sometimes it will also recommend where you are like top, you are a top talent to apply. I think it's a mix of both. I think that sometimes there are some recruiters, maybe they're just looking for they want to make the process and the experience easy for you. But I've seen that the jobs that I've had the greatest opportunity are those ones that I looked at the requirement for the job. I, sort of streamlined my CV to it, and, I submitted my application. Because sometimes it's easy to apply also can just make you just keep through, just attach, any CV, and then you might get filtered out by maybe the ATS or something. Yeah. But I think it's a mix of both, and depending on where you are, sometimes you have a job. It's not like you have a downtime in terms of a job, but you are just saying, what are my prospects like in the market? I do that a lot. So I will just use easy apply. But if you are really like, right now, I need to get a job, that is a job in itself. So you need to be very, very clinical. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does, yes. So you're saying that in applying for the job, we just need to go to this jobs tab that you've opened there.
All right.
And then
All right, let me take you, let me do a use case or user journey there. So one thing you can do is to maybe type, come into this section. First of all, locate the job section, come here, type in the role you're looking for. If I say data analyst or something, you can put the region, you can choose
where are you looking, where are you looking out for more region? I say for the purpose of, let me just say regional SaaS. So it gives you this, right? You can easily turn on an alert for that region. If I click this, I will continue to get alerts in my email on LinkedIn for jobs coming up in this area. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 So, but I want this. I don't want this. I just click that. So what will happen is that the algorithm just automatically continue to say, and this is why it all sort of ties together, because if you have good engagement, the algorithm will sort of place you up. And if there's a job post, because I mean the algorithm runs in batch. I know that everybody on this call is not a tech person, but there's a sort of a database algorithm that really works. So if your SSI is low, you will not quickly get this alert. You get this alert, but you get it after 3 days and after 100 persons have applied, right? But imagine your SSI is like 90. Once the recruiting manager posts, opening on LinkedIn, because your SSI is already high, the algorithm picks you first to say this thing was just posted. It matches what you're looking for. You get it in the first 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. And when you're looking at it, nobody has even applied. You're like the first one to apply, right? So that's why it's also, it's like a journey that ties together. So you have to be very intentional, again, very clinical. If you are reposting, commenting, your SSI is high, you set up job alerts, you get it first. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you are going to take anything away, just ensure that you are really, really leveraging the thing, as needed. Yeah, Dave, your hands are up. You can ask your question, I guess.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Folarin. For me, I checked my SSI right now. The network is about 41%, and the
You're getting there.
industry is about 28. So, how do I increase? The ranking for me.
Okay, so but have you been on the call when I started?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, just some of what we've discussed, right? Let me go back. So again, the trick, and to be honest, this works on almost every SM. The trick is always to sort of stay here and put this in presentation. Please come up. This is not what I want. Escape. It's always to just try to make this an action point for yourself. Comment on other creators, people within the segment you're targeting, for example. Post, have like a single post per day is very hard. I mean, I was on 78, 76 one time, and I was just posting once per week. Let me check my last post. Where's my post? I don't think I've posted, but I mean, I've always post impression. Let me see. Oh, posted. Okay, let me go back to. I see my activity. Let me go back to my activities. I think the last time I posted was definitely last year. My activities, my analytics. Yeah, okay, this is what I was looking for. So sometimes it shows my post as all these ones I reposted them, right? So this 1 month ago, I reposted something somebody was saying, and I put my own, you can write, you can put your own ideas or what you're thinking. But if I look at my own post in itself, that's been long ago. And that was when I was actively posting. So you see all this, I'm reposting. And people are still saying this, and people are, they're engaging with it. Yeah, this is my own post, and this was when, in fact, like 10 months ago. So this was when I was really, really posting. And at the time I was making this post, I was intentional about it. I would, generate pictures or create pictures or go look for stuff that supported what I wanted to talk about. My SSI was almost 80. So this is what you can do, posting repost things that aligns to whatever you are targeting. Yeah, and you see this. I mean, this lady commented about me and how I trained her, and now how she's now a trainer. So I call this a full circle story. This somebody I trained, and now she's now training other business analysts, right? And this post really got a lot of impression. So that's how you do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like when you say post per day, sorry, I'm not trying to be like feel like I'm too. My program is really demanding because it's a new industry. Like, I mean,
so that's why I said that not many people,
so
so everybody struggles with posting per day. But what you can do in terms of the quick actions, the low-hanging fruit is to repost. Sometimes what I also do is I go to platforms that are already saying things and people trust, in the fields that you're targeting. Like if you're in medtech, for example, they have trusted journals or platforms that will sort of provide information for people in that domain. Go there, see what they're saying, come and post it on LinkedIn. You can do that. You can do that 3 times a week. But all that will be because you are intentional and you are aligning your intention to actions.
okay.
Yeah. Someone said, please, can I have your LinkedIn ID? I'm Adedamola Folarin. Please follow me. I'll ensure to follow back. This is just type Adedamola Folarin.
I'm the one that asked.
Yeah, just Adedamola Folarin. This is me. Yeah. Right. Any other questions?
Yes, please. I have a question. I asked if I could drop my LinkedIn address for you to do a quick review, if it's possible.
Oh, why not?
Okay, thank you.
Let's do that, please. What's the time now? Okay.
Mr. Adedamola, can I also drop my LinkedIn too for it to be optimized as well?
Yeah. Maybe we can do that outside of the call.
Yeah, because
after
we just have about.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we can do one, and then the other ones we can take that like after the call because we don't really have enough time and the room might close because of the time limit.
Correct.
But let's just see this one.
Okay, Ifyok, I see you here. Cool. I like it. You have a cover photo. I mean, this looks professional. Okay, so you don't have a call to action yet. You want to do that. There are things that I will not see, but you can see, for example. So call to action is very, very important. Like the link I showed you, let me go back to mine. You can do. So you've not activated your call to action here. Think about what you want to show,
Please, how did you activate call to action, please?
Okay. So if you come to more, I can't see it on somebody else's profile.
Okay.
But if you come to more, you should be able to see something around put a link or something like that. I can't remember what it is now. But one thing, let me go to my own profile. One thing is you'll be able to see it under resources, like things you want to do.
Okay.
Yeah, you should be able to see that under resources. For example, there's this thing that you can also activate under resources just for everybody. You can say there's something about do you want to be creative? Do you want your profile to be, are you a creator? That's also very important. You should activate that because what that will now mean is if you post anything, the algorithm says that this person is a creator, this person wants to be, this person has valuable content to share within a segment and industry. So the algorithm will try to take that, take your content first and push it out to people that are also sort of related or are also sort of interested in what you're saying. So I know it's under resources, but once you've activated it, doesn't come up again. But just check. If you have not done it, you'll see, do you want to be a creator or something funny like that? Yeah. All right. So yeah, back to if you have profile. Let me connect with you. I sent it out a note. So yeah, I sent you an invite. Let's look at your profile. So very important. This should also be a living content on your LinkedIn. So for example, if I show you mine, I mean, whilst I landed in France, but at the end of 2023, right, mine was a lot longer because what I was doing then, I was a group head, I was a group head, in a capital markets industry, and I was doing a lot, I was leading industry market project and all that. So if you had come to my headline at that time, it sort of married that, right? But right now, I know that, okay, Damola, that is not where you are now. Things have changed a bit. So I sort of streamlined it to sort of show what I'm doing now. Still in, sort of capital market, equity financing, investment banking here in France, but I've sort of aligned that to what I'm doing right now, right? So this should be a living content on your profile. If you are targeting certain industry, this is where you want to summarize what you've done that sort of aligns. I know that there was a conversation around that when we're looking at your CV. So please take note. This should be a living content. You let it capture what you're doing right now or what you are looking to do in the next phase of your career. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What else? Let's go back to yours. So FF, just take note of that. I see that you talk about project management, risk management, cybersecurity operations. If you are also targeting something, you want to maybe highlight that more strongly. Yeah, and let people see that that's what you're doing, that you have an experience in that. It's always very important. You should try to give bullet point or highlight of what you're doing in each role, essentially for the roles that are past. I think that that's so important. Like research scholar, where you just try to list one or two things that people can read, like what you've done here is good in your assistant project in the role, your assistant project coordinator role. Try to do that as much as possible. Because like I said, I stand to be corrected. I feel like a lot of recruiting managers are more focused on things you have on LinkedIn and your portfolio now than just what you have in your CV. There's just so many things you can put, on a single page, in your CV. So people would rather come and check you out here and see what you have. And your education, yeah, it's good. Your Lancing certification, this is good. Please, there are people that I've spoken to, or maybe we had very quick mentoring sessions, and they've gotten awards, they've gotten recognized by the employers, and it's when we're having this conversation that they start to have like bubble. Like, oh, I went for one training, but they didn't give me certificate. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Come on, put it here. You've gone for the training, right? So you've done public speaking training, you've done empathy or whatever, or you can even go and be intentional and take trainings on LinkedIn here or any platform. Come back here and sort of update your profile. Like I said, I've had recruiting managers asking me weirdest questions on things I have on my profile. So people are looking out. You want to also be able to capture and make your profile robust. I think the last thing for me is I like the way you have up to 3 skills, but I would say that if there's something you're targeting right now, there's a segment, there's a role, try to ensure that instead of having a laundry list like this, let it reflect those key skills and competencies, just like what you put in your CV, right? Yeah. So that's one feedback. And you don't have anybody giving recommendations. Recommendations are so important. I get a lot of people asking me questions on my recommendation. I would literally ask the people I've trained, the people I've worked with to give me recommendation. I have like 55 right now. And and I still have a couple of people that I know that they need to give me recommendation because I trained them, mentored them in 2024, and I'm still on their case to say, guy, you've not given me that recommendation. Yeah, I guess that would be it. So if you've done any form of volunteering before, also please do well to okay, this was the company in Estonia I was talking about. Please do well to capture it on your LinkedIn. Very important. I think some people pay attention to it also. Yeah, so yeah.
All right.
All right, thank you.
No problems.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, so that will be all for me, guys. And
Yeah.
but overall, I think that we should take away these action points that we've discussed.
Of course. Thank you very much for your time. Actually, it was really, really insightful. Especially the link you sent, the recommendations also that you spoke about. I don't think I have that on my LinkedIn at all, and I don't post at all on LinkedIn. So yeah, so I guess I would also have to start doing that and see how that could change my fortune on LinkedIn. But again, thank you to everyone who was able to join. I know that we had a lot of time added to the session, but I think it was beneficial to everyone. We will endeavor to send the recording on the FON group for most of us that are there. And would also collaborate with the speakers to get the slide. I think Enare has already sent hers, so I'll speak to Folarin Damola to be able to send his own also. But of course, if you do have any other questions or anything like that, you can always reach out to FON France and we'll be able to help you with that. So I guess this is finally it. The meeting is going to end in like 2 or 3 minutes. So thank you again to everyone and
Thank
have
you.
a good day. Yeah.
God bless you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
So much. Bye, everyone.
Merci.